Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Imam Zia speaking to you from the Islamic Center of Irving in Dallas, Texas. I've been asked to record a video about interpersonal or intergender relationships and to what extent is it permissible to interact with the opposite gender, especially to a person that's not related to you. And now living in the West, this issue comes up time and time again at college, at work, at school, when you go shopping with the neighbors, etc. There's always the chance that you're going to have to interact with a person who's of the opposite gender. So what do you do, and to what extent can you interact with the people? So basically, to sum it up, the interaction should be only on an as needed basis. Okay, a person who has female employees, for example, female co-workers, or even a female boss, there's always going to be the need for interaction in those situations. So basically, to sum it up, if we were to keep these 2 points, 2 words in mind, as needed, then that basically gives us the answer to that question. Okay, so anything more than as needed, it would be not permissible. And this is summed up in one verse of the Quran in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشًا وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Don't even get close to zina. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have used the words لَا تَزْنُوا, meaning don't commit adultery, okay, don't commit fornication, but he used the words لَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, don't even get close to zina, which means that anything that leads to zina, anything that gets a person close to zina, anything that could provoke a person into doing something wrong with the opposite gender, then this would be something that would be impermissible. And that is why it's mentioned in a hadith that when two people, a male and a female, are alone together in one room, the third person is shaitan that tries to provoke them into doing something illicit and doing something wrong. And according to another hadith, the shaitan even goes as far as to beautifying an ugly woman in the eyes of a man and beautifying an ugly man in the eyes of the woman when they are alone together. This is what the shaitan does to try to provoke the person into doing something that is wrong, and it's the relationship that is kind of wrong. Now again, in this day and age, there are so many avenues in which interaction takes place. We have interaction on Facebook, interaction on Twitter, through text messaging, through chat rooms online, and then all of these different kinds of apps that make it so easy for a person to interact with the opposite gender and leads a person into doing things which are completely wrong and completely haram by Shari'i standards. So where do we draw the line? The answer is basically as needed. As needed, a person can interact. Anything more than that would not be permissible. If we keep this boundary and we make sure that we don't exceed this boundary, then inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect us. And of course, if you are at the age of getting married, then you should try to get married as soon as possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us in the Quran, وَأَنْكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ إِنْ يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَاللَّهُ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. That you should try to get married the people that are aim from amongst you. Aim means a person that's single. Try to get them married, and if they are poor, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give them ghina from His own fadl and from His own mercy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them sustenance because they are trying to prevent themselves from falling into haram. That's why they're getting married. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide them sustenance. We have an attitude of delaying marriage with the understanding that let my son stand on his 2 feet, let my daughter finish her education, and we don't realize that the environment here is not conducive for people to protect themselves from falling into sin. Everywhere around there is peer pressure, there are boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, and this kind of thing, it influences a person in a very negative way. So we need to protect our children, and we need to make sure that they are married at an age that they are not pushed into committing sins. This is the best thing to do, as the Prophet ﷺ also instructed, يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج فإنه له وجاء. The person who is young and has the capability to get married, the Prophet ﷺ, he instructed them to get married. ومن لم يستطع فعليه بالصوم فإنه له وجاء. A person who does not have the ability to get married yet, then he should protect himself by fasting, because this will be a form of protection for him. But otherwise, if a person is physically and financially able to get married, he should do so as soon as possible. And this, inshallah, will protect him and it will protect the environment. Summary is, relationships with the opposite gender are not permissible in any way, shape, or form. If we need to interact with a woman or a man, if for the females, then the way that we do it is only on an as-needed basis. We don't spend time alone together, and if we are at marriable age, then we should try to get married as soon as possible. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me and you the understanding to practice what has been said and heard. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.